Join me as we talk all things true crime.
Made contact and shattered.
The missing 4-year-old. The parents have called in and the mother has went for a wall, came home, now they can't find her.
Chad, where are Lori's kids? They've been missing for 4 months. You have nothing to say?
4 were stabbed multiple times and were likely asleep during the attack. Some had defensive wounds.
Most of them had just like one that was the lethal stab wound.
Oh, what a tangled web we weave. Once I told a lie, then I told my family. I had to keep lying.
What's your, is it demon?
We haven't cleared anybody.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. This is another ATS News live stream, a deep dive into the Chris Watts case. Again, this is back by popular demand. A lot of people like the deep dives into this case, even though it is closed. So we are on part 5, going through Chris's interview with the FBI. So Special Agent Coder, Graham Coder, is who he is speaking with. We are on, like I said, part 5. Over an hour into their interview. I want to start off with a page in the discovery first. So let me say hello to everybody in chat and let me know if you guys can hear me good. Okay, thank you, Johnny. Right there when I need you. Thank you. Hi, Star Child. Hi, Bubba. Good to see you. Derek's here. Good to see you. Lindy, Kim, Melly's here. Hello, Michelle, Adrian. Good to see everybody. Melanie. More people should be joining. I've sent out. Hi, Victoria. Cars here. So this is just a Nana. Hello, Tony. Tony, I hope you had a good birthday. I think I might have said that already in the last live stream. Okay, thank you so much, Jennifer. She said, love your insight, Amber. Wish I could watch, but busy Friday night. Excited to watch later. Gonna keep you on the sound off as I have company. Good idea. And Johnny is serving tea for everybody in chat. Thank you so much. Carolina, Paul's here. Thanks so much for being here, everyone. Brandy. Okay, so this page is in the discovery. I think that it's relevant because it is the same day that his FBI interview is done that we've been going through. So I just kind of wanted to talk about something that was written in the discovery on the same day as his interview. So let's see. So this is about, all right. I was requested to help search through the Windham Hill subdivision homes, which are currently under construction, in case Shanann and the girls had some reason sought refuge there. I helped search through numerous homes which were open and under construction, as well as construction dumpsters in the Windham Hill area, to try to locate any evidence of the 3. I did not observe anything which would indicate Shanann or her daughters were in the area. I was then requested by Sergeant Bakes to enter Shanann, Bella, and Cece into the CCIC NCIC as missing persons with a request to check on their well-being if contacted. At approximately 2 p.m. on Tuesday, August 14th, 2018, I contacted Chris to gather some information that was required on the missing person report, i.e. the girl's height, weight, hair and eye color, and any scars or marks. When I tried to speak with Chris at that time, I had called the telephone number he provided, and then the number is listed here. Several attempts had been made to call Christopher, but when the number would be connected, there was just dead air. At approximately 2:05 a.m., so this says a.m. I wonder if it's supposed to say a.m. maybe. That's interesting. Okay. I received a call from Chris from a different telephone number. And then that number is listed. Christopher told me something had been wrong with his telephone, and he had now been calling me from his work telephone. I explained to Christopher that I needed some information regarding his daughters. So here, right here, he's trying to call him in the number that Chris gave them, not answering, numerous attempts, just dead air. And then once he gets in contact with Chris, he's using his other phone, and Chris comes up with what I think is a lie, stating that, there's something wrong with his other phone. So he's calling to gather that information. He advised me of the request information. He also told me that Shanann had a scar in the middle of her forehead, above the bridge of her nose, which ran in up and down direction, not side to side. He also told me the scar had been caused by glass from an accident that she was involved in, and that it was difficult to see and only became visible if she became heated, as if she had been in the sun too long. Christopher at the time told me that he still had not heard from his wife and that he could not think of anybody else for us to call to try to help locate her and his daughters. It should be mentioned that once I made contact with Christopher, he did not ask me if I had been calling because I had any information concerning his missing wife and daughters, or if I was calling because they had been found. Red flag. After speaking with Christopher, I provided the information to Weld County dispatch records, and Shanann, Bella, and Celeste were entered as missing persons. Dispatch faxed over the confirmation information to me, and it is included in this report. I also had checked with dispatch to see if there could electronically advise any hospitals in the area, making them aware of the missing persons. I was advised that the only way to contact the hospitals would be to call each one individually. At approximately 4:38 a.m., I was contacted directly at the PD by Shanann's mother, Sandra Rusek. Rusek was upset and told me that she and her husband believed that her daughter and granddaughter's disappearance involved foul play, and that she honestly believes that her son-in-law was involved in the disappearance of her daughter and granddaughters. She stated that Chris is acting, quote, weird and out of the ordinary. She said that Christopher is telling people he has to go to work, and that just doesn't seem right. She felt that he is going out to pour oil on the bodies to dispose of them somewhere. Rusek said she felt when Shanann had come home late from her trip and had been exhausted, and that she said Christopher had argued, but due to Shanann's lupus, she would not have been able to put up a fight. Rusek also told me that she had bought Shanann an Apple iWatch and the ID was her plan number. She said she purchased it under the T-Mobile plan, but that Shanann had transferred it to her own AT&T account. She identified the iWatch as being a 38mm SIL AI, white in color. Rusek then called me back and told me she and her husband, Frank, had just spoken to Christopher and that he is not shedding a tear about his missing family. She did tell me she told him if he was involved, he would see her become irate. Rusek finally told me that Christopher had called a neighbor and told them that he feels we are watching him about his involvement in this. Yeah, no shit. I explained to Rusek that she should not threaten Christopher or say too much in regards to the direction of this investigation, as we do not know exactly what the circumstances are involving the whereabouts of Shanann and her granddaughters. I recorded my telephone contact with Christopher on my body-worn camera. It is available on evidence.com. End of report. So all this took place on the same day he goes in for his FBI interview. So The officer is alarmed that he's not answering the telephone number that was given to him. He's not crying, or, Sandy pretty much says, like, he doesn't seem upset at all. He's not shedding a tear for his family who's missing. A lot of red flags. Chris says that the phone number and the phone that he had given them for, contact wasn't working. Just complete blatant lies, pretty much. So now we will get into, and yes, this week was Cece's birthday. Actually, it was Wednesday, the same day as my husband's birthday. She would have been 9 years old. Isn't that crazy? Hi, Allison. Good to see you. Thank you so much. And our moderators appreciate that too. Yeah, she started to suspect towards the end, I think. Right. I mean, when your son-in-law isn't showing any type of emotions, when his toddlers and pregnant wife are missing, yes, that's a theory that he had the one phone on and using the other phone so that Nikki could listen into his communications with law enforcement. So the phone that the officer tried to call, which was just dead air, they left on. And then Chris called him back on the work phone, and Nikki is on the other phone listening into the conversation with law enforcement. And I believe that this was confirmed through Nikki's phone records and the time. You can see that she's on the phone with Chris during the time of these calls. So, hi, Leia. Good to see you. Debbie Fox is here. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Chris equals pants on fire. So let's get into the charade with him and Agent Coder. Yeah, involved AF. Hey, Sherry. Good to see you. Being Bio Girl here. Okay, everyone's here. She never told law enforcement that. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. She says something about how they had only texted on certain days. It's just, you can't believe a word she says. She's as big of a liar as Chris is, and so is the district attorney in this case too. So it's just been one complete mess. So this is where we left off. Again, Chris trying to convince Coder that, he's being honest, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Nikki is nosy. And if she has nothing to do with any foul play, why would she care to listen in on his conversation with police?
Nothing in this world would ever make me do anything to these kids or my wife.
Yes, this is exactly where we left off last time, because we pointed out how Shanann is always the afterthought. Nothing would make me do anything to these kids or my wife. Can't forget her, right?
When you walk out of this room, there's nothing I can say to a room full of police officers that's going to convince them that you have nothing to do with this.
I know.
You know what they think.
I know it all. Yeah.
Here's a guy who didn't call 911, who woke his wife up at a ridiculous hour because he was so guilty about something that he had to get it off his chest and say, I don't love you anymore, I'm leaving you. That didn't go well. Okay, so what happened?
She told me she wanted me to wake her up before I left. That's why I didn't just wake her up, just to tell her this. I woke her up. That's what she wanted to do, and we talked. Usually at 4 a.m. I wake up, I go down and work out. This day, I wanted to talk to her about this.
So not only do I not believe that they had sex that night, like he claims in the FBI interview while he's in prison, but this whole, she asked me to wake him up, when I got up from work. I'm just not buying that either. I don't know about you guys. She was out on this very long trip. Her flight got delayed, so she got home later than usual. If you guys could just hit the thumbs up too, that'd be great. I appreciate it. Yeah, exactly. Like every time he's lying, he'll start to throw in these likes. I just don't believe that she was telling him, when you get up in the morning, wake me up.
I love these girls. I love these girls so much. And this picture right here, Celeste and Bella, those are my life.
I love these girls. I love these girls so much. Okay, what about Shanann, your wife? And this also leads me to think that there's others involved. He participated in Shanann's demise, but I'm still not convinced that he killed the kids. And I know people get so irate when I say that, but I think people in chat kind of are seeing it as possible too, because I do get the comments that believe that, like, yes, somebody else killed the kids. They were collateral damage. They saw too much, etc. The plan never, went in motion. Yeah, can you imagine having the talk at 4 a.m.? Right. I would never want to be in the legal field. They're all about money. Can't trust anyone unless you yourself have a friend that's a lawyer. She never made it upstairs, in my opinion. NK is such a liar. Hey, Jennifer, Stella, everyone else who's here. Really? Wasn't his version that something to do with the kids being drugged because they don't have the drug? Cece didn't have the drugs in her system. What was that one again? Listen, there's been 3+ confessions. Dylan's is I don't know, the 5th one. Right. The talk, quote unquote, was the 8th, not the night, in my opinion, per Shanann's text. Agree. These girls. Yeah, he says these girls. Yeah, were his daughter. He never called them that. Mm-hmm. Oh. I could see that being possible. I really could. I believe that he claimed Chris told him that Cece was overdosed by sleep medicine or something. I can't remember exactly, but I don't buy that. And I don't buy the story that he told Sherilyn Cadle that he tried to kill them and they woke back up and Cece was walking around brain damaged. I'm sorry, do you guys know anybody who's brain damaged who's able to walk around? Just doesn't make sense to me. Everything he told Sherilyn Cadle was a lie also. I know. And yet 6 years in August. Yeah, it just makes no sense, in my opinion.
I helped make those kids. There's nothing in my life that means more to me than these kids. Nothing. Kids, that's your life. That's your lifeline. That's everything. You make kids, they come first before anything. Kids, spouse, family. That's what it's always been.
Nothing you've told me tonight makes sense. Nothing you've told me tonight feels like the truth.
Nothing you told me tonight feels like the truth. Exactly. Chris, just come effing clean. Exactly, beard freak. The hardest part is all the stupid lies, right? At this point, if there really were other people involved, or if he thinks that possibly the kids could still be alive, like, why the heck isn't he saying something? It just annoys me. He just repeating what he should say. Exactly. I helped making those kids. Yeah, this always strikes me as such an odd thing to say. Yeah, it really is weird. I feel NK and somebody else hurt the girls. Each took a girl, and each of them put them in the different tanks, right? Yeah, come on. Coder had his, you know what, in a bag, right? I like Coder's reply. That detective was on point. And yeah, and it just keeps spiraling from this interview on. It just spirals into more and more lies. Hey, Roxanne, glad you're here. And yes, drive safe. Thank you for listening. And you can see Chris's facial expressions if you're able to zoom in at all. He's biting. He constantly hides his lips. In the porch interview, in these interviews, looking Coder dead in the eyes while he's hiding his lips. Coder knows that that's a form of body language that displays that you're keeping something back. You're hiding something. All the experts will say so as well. It's the smirky smile on the porch interview that makes me feel he didn't know if the girls were alive or not at that point. I agree. And that porch interview was on this day before this interview. So it's so hard because I just really, that's how I see the porch interview. I know not everybody sees it that way.
Can we start over? Sure. I think that there's something that happened that got maybe a little bit out of control.
There was no fight. There was nothing physical. It was a conversation. We didn't raise our voice. Nothing. I promise you that. So there was nothing physical with this conversation.
What was the last thing you saw about your daughters?
Nothing I saw, like when I left.
What did it look like?
Saw them in the monitor as it was switching back and forth.
What's the last thing you saw with your wife?
She was laying back in bed as I was walking out the bedroom door.
Okay. When we find the guy who took him, what do you think we should do?
Honestly, like, they're gonna come home safe, correct? When you find the guy.
When we find the guy, they're going to come home.
Life in prison would be that's what I would think with 2 kids that are involved.
Isn't it interesting how he doesn't say like death? Like he says, what do you think we should do? Like what? Hold on, I want to read some of your guys' comments. Yeah, Coder says that's BS. Yep, I believe that. Just my opinion, but I don't think NK killed the girls. She was too self-absorbed to risk her freedom for Chris. She bailed on him as soon as he said his family's missing. I feel like I could see it that way, but also I think once Nicole Atkinson shows up and the cops are involved, I think NK realizes, like, if she leaves people alive who are witnesses, this is saying that the girls weren't dead by then, but Shanann is, in this theory. Obviously, it's a theory. I'm not stating this as fact. I think that she realizes, like, if these kids are able to say what happened, she's risking her freedom by letting them stay alive. I still can't get over the fact that NK and Jim were both sick. And you get really sick when you're breathing in those fumes of the tanks. And Chris was not sick. And Shanann wasn't in the tanks. So I don't know. Sherry says Chris had help. Hi, Thunder Chick. Carolina thinks NK helped him. I suspect NK is the one who unalived the girls and Jem unalived Cece en route. Bella, when the truck stopped at the destination, Jim is vicious, in my opinion. Chris is indifferent, non-thinker robot. Could see that being possible for sure. I think any theory is possible because I just don't think we have the truth. I think he isn't sure about the girls at this point. Me too. Which is why I think it's like lacking that like emotion. But again, he is a robot. So would there ever be emotion? Hey, sweet Melissa. I still can't believe he did all that he claimed at Survey 319 with no help in the amount of time. Agree. The timeline is not adding up. And remember, he went to other sites that morning. Yeah, but then he says Bella walked in because she heard noises. I could see that almost being true in a way. You know, there's always a little bit of truth in these lies. Is it possible that they did wake up because they heard the ambush of Shanann? NK was there that night, 1,000%, in my opinion. I think so too. I think so too. Whether or not she's involved, I can't say 100%, but I will say I really think that she was there that night in the early morning hours. Something went on quite fast that night once Shanann closed the front door. Chris had help. I really feel that. I think so too. Later on in the interview, he talks about the girls in past tense, so he must have known they were gone. Think it's this interview. I could be wrong. We noticed, because we're on part 5 of this breakdown, we noticed that he kind of goes in and out of past tense, like conversations about them. But it definitely happens. He definitely speaks past tense about them, but then there's times where he's not speaking in the past. Oh, thank you, Melanie, for the super chat. Thanks, Amber. You have done such amazing work on this case and others. Thank you so much, and I really appreciate your support. And just being here in chat means a lot to me. I feel NK was in the house waiting for Shanann with others, in my opinion. Yep. All right, guys. Great comments in chat. I could read them all night. Let's get into this interview a little bit deeper, though. Yeah, she calls Jim. And her phone pings in Frederick. Now, that wouldn't have mattered if the explosion theory took place, because everybody's focus would have been on the Survey explosion. They never would have contacted NK and seen her phone records and seen her ping. But because everything kind of fell apart when Nicole Atkinson showed up, her phone records get pulled. And then we see the ping. Hey, Purple One, good to see you. 100% she was in the house. Hey, everyone. Yeah, I think everyone's sort of feeling the same in chat.
What if he heard them?
I'm not sure if like that penalty is even used. Is it used in Colorado? I'm not even sure.
What is?
The death penalty.
Okay.
I mean, like, if these kids are not alive, like, there's nothing you could do to cope with that, to make me cope with that, if those kids are not okay.
Okay.
Did you notice all the likes when he's talking about that? Like.
All right. What was your plan after you guys separated?
Try to get an apartment.
Yeah. Nearby?
Oh, we'd just go our separate ways. Like, I would probably get an apartment. She would try to sell the house first, of course, before we could do anything with that.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully, like, try to get an apartment somewhat close.
Okay.
So that, like, it's a 50-50 thing, like, because I was going to go on an 8 and 6 schedule in September.
Okay.
And then I would have 6 days off, and it would be perfect to, you know, I'd have kids for half, and she'd have half, and that would work.
All right. Tonight's been pretty intense, I can imagine. How are you feeling?
I slept like 2 hours last night, so I'm like running on empty right now. But
I know, I can see it. So why don't I do this? I'm sure you don't mind if we take a break for the night. I'm sure that you are feeling some of the pressure from me. Okay?
you're doing your job.
I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't grill you a little bit, right?
I seen you tell 2 different guys. Like, honestly, like, I seen like where you're smiling, and I seen where it's different.
Yeah.
The fact that he can even like make a joking conversation right now with Coder, like smiling and stuff, is just so eerie. That bed in the basement on the 13th looked different on the 14th body cams. Things were rearranged on that basement bed and area. Yes, and one of the dogs showed interest in the bed, and there was a dead wasp on the bed. Don't know why. And also there was a dead bird out in their front yard. Very strange. Didn't Chris say something about ambushing Shanann as an answer to a hypothetical question during the prep for the poly? Yes. And you don't need to go back and listen, Bubba, because we're going to be going through that eventually. I mean, unless you want to do it in your spare time too. But yeah, he says that to Tammy. Very interesting. He also says something about, I can't remember, but that was a little interesting segment. They were so in debt, even selling the house would leave them very little money left over. Agree, especially since they were behind in their mortgage. And they were behind in the HOA payments. It's sad. A lot of thought about the kids after divorce, but he killed them. Very weird. I know. I'm sorry, but you don't know where your kids are. You don't sleep, and you sure as heck don't eat. Right. Yeah, it's so weird, Deco. A lot of people don't know about the bird. Believe it was mentioned in Nick Thayer's interview. We'll have to go through all the Friends interviews too, guys. But yes, there was a dead wasp in the basement on the bed and a dead bird in the front yard. Really weird. Which I don't know. I don't know, guys. It's just very strange. Yeah, the investigation was never completed. Did law enforcement ever pull that bedding for the investigation? I really don't think it's listed in the evidence log. Again, we only have the discovery files from the prosecution side. Whatever analysis and investigation that Chris's team was going through, we don't have any of their notes or anything. Animal sacrifice, maybe a spell. I don't know. I mean, I think anything's up on the table. I also wonder if like the chemical used to possibly sedate her, was it affecting the birds and insects around the house? Like I don't know. Again, this is kind of where it's like my theories, I don't have like ways to kind of explain it, but it makes me wonder if it has anything to do with some sort of sedative given to her, or maybe they had exposure to it. I just don't know. No, it sounds crazy. What was in the pipes? He's very interested in them. I don't know if you were here, Melanie. The other week, we read through an interview from Cassie, which was Shanann's friend. And she was saying that Shanann was telling her that Chris was worried about the oil wells in the neighborhood, and that they were going to affect like the value of the home and stuff. So I don't know if that has anything to do with the pipes question that he asked in prison. Yeah, the answer to did law enforcement ever is almost certainly always no. No, they didn't. They did less. They definitely didn't do a lot. So yeah, if you have the discovery files and you just type in Cassie, you'll see her interview. And she talks about how Chris was telling Shanann that he was worried about the value of their home decreasing because, like, pretty much referring to that house explosion that took place a year prior because of the pipes and the oil leakage from fracking. So, hey, in teas, apple bottom jeans. Yeah, the bird thing is interesting, isn't it? Yes, hit that like button, please. Thank you, Bubba.
You're doing your job, though. Like, I can't fault you for anything you've asked.
So can I make a commitment to you?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to commit to you that we're not going to stop working until we find them.
Okay.
Okay. And I want to commit to you that there is going to come a time when you're going to feel this pressure from other people. I'm not the only one who thinks that there's a possibility you have something to do with this.
Like another FBI agent, like, pressure, or like just, like...
Everyone.
Okay.
Everyone, Chris.
Okay.
Have you ever watched the news and said, 2 girls and a pregnant woman go missing? Okay, if that's all you heard, what do you think the public thinks? Husband. Okay. So, I'm going to make a commitment to you, okay? I'm going to commit to you that I'm going to be your guy, okay? I'm going to be your guy that handles the investigation, okay? And I'm going to be your guy that you can come to, okay? Because I hope that you realize I'm a nice guy. Tonight we had to talk about some tough things, but I hope that you know that I did it respectfully. I think that you can see that. And so, as we go on through tonight, the hours, the days, and I hope we don't get to hours or days. I hope it's minutes, right? Until this is over.
Yes.
But just in case it's not, I want you to know that I wanted to be in this room tonight. I wanted to talk to you.
Okay.
Okay. And I hope that you want to talk to me. Okay. When you have questions, when you have concerns, I want you to call the detective that you work with, and I want you to call me. Okay. I want you to know that if you have a question, if you think we're not doing something enough or well enough, I want you to say, I gotta call Graham. I gotta call Dave.
Okay.
Okay. When you need to have a night to yell at somebody and maybe have a good cry, I want you to call me.
Okay.
Okay? I can't imagine what you're going through. I just can't.
Today's been the whirlwind from, like, yesterday I thought she was just at somebody's house, and today with the drones, the police, and the news, it looked like a scene out of a movie.
That's too much. It's too much for one person to handle.
My dad's flying in tomorrow.
Good. Okay. Check your dad. Who else do you have?
Nick and Amanda, Dave, Jeremy.
Okay. Now, you only know me for 3 hours, but I want to be part of that team.
Okay.
Okay? I want to be part of the team that helps you, and I want you to be part of my team. Okay? Tonight when you go home, one of two things is going to happen. You're going to pass out because you're so tired. Okay? And that's probably not going to be what happens. Your head's going to go race. Okay? So tonight when you lay down and your head starts racing, there's going to be things that come to your mind. Okay? This always happens. Always. It's very natural. You're going to say, I wonder why he asked me that. Okay? You're going to say, screw him. How dare he accuse me? Okay? You're going to say, I wonder if they thought of this. Okay? And then you're going to say, I probably should have told him something, or this, or that. Okay? Those are the most common things. When those thoughts come to your head, I want you to call me. I want you to call Dave. Okay? It's fair for your mind to race, so I want you to call me. Okay? You need a lifeline. You need someone you can call. I want to be that guy. All right? And I want you to know that if I didn't accuse you a little bit, you'd probably wonder if I was good at my job.
One of my buddies, he is straight with me. He was like, dude, I'll just be no veil. Like, none of this looks good. So it's like he's like, I'm not gonna accuse anybody, but like, I'm not gonna be like. He has his wife and their friends. He's like, they won't talk to you right now. Yeah. I'm like, I know.
So we had this Chris, right? Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the other Chris. He's just right here, okay? I can see that you're a good man, right? You don't have beautiful daughters with good clothing that look well fed, right? Children that are unhappy don't smile like this, okay? And those are beautiful kids. Those kids have a good dad, and I know it.
You should see the picture. It's on my phone.
Yeah.
It's a better one, but it's just, I'm sorry too, but it's...
Those kids have a good dad. Good dad that feeds them and that loves them. I was very impressed when I asked you how their day was about how involved you are. Okay.
See me on the weekend.
A lot of dads don't get second pairs of clothes and cook eggs and give them snacks at night. You know, a lot of men, that's woman's work, right?
I like to get involved.
But you're not that kind of guy. Okay. So, Chris, can you just look at me for 1 second? If there is something that happened, it's okay. It really is.
Yeah.
Okay. If something that happened with these girls, if there was an accident, if there's something you're afraid to tell me, it's okay.
Okay.
If there's something that happened with your wife, it's okay. Okay? You can always tell me. And if you want to talk 15 minutes after you leave, I'll answer the phone. If you want to talk in the middle of the morning, I'll answer the phone. Okay? What I want to happen is, if that's what happened, if there was something that got out of hand, if there's something you know, I want you to go home and I want you to know that I'm the guy you can talk to, okay, who's not going to judge you. I have kids.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I joke with my wife, I just need 2 weeks alone, you know? Like when you told me about your 4 to 5 weeks alone, I was like, wow, that sounds like a slice of heaven, right? Sometimes it's a bit much. Okay? So let's do this. We're going to take a little break. I'm going to help organize the search at your house tonight.
Okay.
Okay? I still want to do that.
Okay. I was just going to go to my friend's house and just get away.
So he's going to stay at his friend Nick's house with his wife, and they're going to do another search of the house. However, they let Chris stay Monday night. So this is Tuesday night. They let Chris stay in the house Monday, and when they came in for a search on Tuesday, it already smelled like cleaning chemicals. And he cleaned up, and like we stated earlier in chat, if you look at the body camera footage from Monday and Tuesday, the basement is all different, subtle changes. Hey, Alex Erickson, good to see you. Glad you're here. This is the clearest I've heard of this interview. I tried my best, Tony, to kind of enhance the audio. Of course, it always enhances the clock ticking, but that is actually, loud on purpose, which I think everyone kind of knows that. It's supposed to kind of make you feel uncomfortable when you're in there. But yeah, it's just unfortunate that he stayed the night Monday and was able to kind of rearrange things and clean things. So it's not in the exact state that it was when she allegedly went missing. All right, let me just read your guys' comments a little bit. Do I think she left her phone on and at home while she went to the Watts during the 111-minute call? I think that that's possible. The only reason why I don't think that that's the case is because a couple reasons. So at 1:30 in the morning, which of course would be after the phone call, but still, the suspicious vehicle was called in to the tip line the night that Shanann got home. So she got home at 1:48 in the morning. This car was seen there at 1:30, and it was a white SUV. So I don't know. There's just too many things that make me think that like they didn't leave the phone on and she left it at home. Also, the ping at 6 in the morning, she would have had to have gone home to get her phone, I guess, and then driven back to the house. But if that's her suspicious car, although the gray truck was also seen in the neighborhood, which was linked to NK. So listen, anything's possible. It really is. He's so cold, knowing what happened, so chill and unaffected. He was like this all along. Some medical diagnosis, this just didn't happen over a 6-week or maybe even a year affair. I agree. The affair was much longer than the 6 weeks they're claiming. Yeah, the people screwed up the investigation the second they showed up at the house Monday. Yeah. And not to, criticize her, but Nicole Atkinson kind of picking up the purse and moving it to the counter, like nothing should have been touched. Her purse was in the office. NK found it in there. I'm sorry, not NK. Nicole Atkinson found it in there and brought it to the kitchen, and they were going through it. And I just wish things weren't, touched, unfortunately. Hey, MM, good to see you. The whole Oxy thing, we have no proof that it was given to her. I know it's been theorized and talked about in the Cadle book. I know that Shanann talks about symptoms that she was experiencing, which sound a lot like she might have been drugged with it. I just don't believe that she was drugged with it by Chris or by Chris's sister. I think, and this is just my opinion, I could be wrong, but, it was never in her autopsy. The only thing in the discovery files that is linked to Oxy is Chris Googled Oxy 80 milligrams. We also ended up finding out that Shanann had a huge gallbladder stone, which, oddly enough, had a lot of the same like side effects and symptoms that the Oxy could have given her as well. Yeah, the fact he never calls law enforcement during the night speaks volumes. Agree. He wasn't the first one to call 911. Nicole Atkinson was. Just so many little things. The fact NK deleted messages, escaped jail time. And the thing is too, like they have full means to pull back anything she deleted. In fact, some of the stuff that she did delete, is in the discovery, and it'll say in parentheses deleted. So they have, means to see exactly what was being said between these two, and everything that she had on her phone that she deleted, they can absolutely pull back and get. And yet they couldn't, because once they, he signed the plea deal, the investigation ended. And that was it. They wrapped everything up.
Okay. Now,
Hopefully they
now
still
look,
awake.
I can't tell you that we have to do it. Okay.
If like you said, it rained tonight.
Yeah.
Like hard. Like it blew 4 trash cans in my yard.
Let's get on it, right?
Like it's whatever's there is there, and I want it found.
I want to do that. I want to talk to you again tomorrow. Okay. I want you to get a good night's sleep and a good breakfast and a good workout, whatever you got to do, whatever your morning routine is.
My dad flies in the morning about like 8 or 9.
Okay.
So
what time should we plan on doing that?
can I get him back home first and then come here?
Of course.
Okay.
And listen, of course, take your time, get settled in. So what time do you fly in?
He should be here around 8 or 9.
You're 9?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's flying from North Carolina.
Here's what I would love to have happen. He's flying in 8 or 9. You gotta go get him. You gotta get him back. He's gonna...
Yes, Karen, that's one of the main reasons why I believe, like, even without people coming forward saying I had a membership with them, blah, 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 like all that could be true, right? But it's also hearsay. But what isn't hearsay is when Nicole Kessinger is in her interview and she's talking about helping Chris find an apartment. And she's like, I wanted it to be close to, work and the kids' school and the gym, close to the gym. And the way she said it, yes, it was quick. And then she quickly moves on from the subject, doesn't dwell on the gym much. But it's not like she says a gym or a gym that he might want to get a membership for. She says close to the gym, as if, there was already one in mind. I also believe that in one of the investigation notes in the discovery, like a handwritten note, says something about a gym. So I'd have to scroll through, or anybody, if you have spare time, it's a handwritten note. And it mentions the gym. So I think that they were maybe looking into that angle as well. And of course, everything kind of gets stopped. I have heard that NK has a son. I believe that that's a rumor. But it's hard to know. It's definitely not a Watts. Hi, Jaded. Good to see you. Yeah, I think 2017, they met at the gym, and then that's when NK started cyber stalking Shanann. And remember, she looks up Chris first. So you meet a guy at the gym, you're curious about him, you find out his name because you're just striking up conversations near the workout equipment, you Google him on Facebook or whatever, and that was in August. And then you look through his stuff. You see him again at the gym. Come September, she's Googling the wife. So I think that at that point, she had her sights set on him. And she wanted to know, who her competition was. So she Googles Shanann. That's just my opinion, my theory. When the Ruseks returned home from living in the basement, yes, Chris started going on long jogs, likely meeting NK on those runs. Shanann frequently posted about Chris's out jogging and in groups text with friends. Yes, exactly. She really does. And that was also something that we were kind of thinking, his Apple Watch would show that he was working out. Only maybe he wasn't jogging for that workout, if you guys get what I'm saying. Are we talking about a gym membership or a gym membership, right? That would be a Leave Jim Alone membership. Any possibility she met him on a dating site? She was on one, had 2 dates. She said she didn't show up. Dating scenes suck, she said. That's so true, James. She was on it, admitted to being on it. Chris knew that she was setting up dates. We just have no proof that he was on dating apps, but think about it. We don't even have his full phone forensics. So he had a work phone and he had a private phone. And actually the work phone he got, he had just gotten it like around, I can't remember the month, but it was in 2018. So I believe he had a different work phone even before this work phone that's listed in like the discovery files. Yeah, I really think that that's where they met too. Yeah, I figured that you were saying CP. There's so many POS Chris's out there. No offense to anyone with the name Chris. But yeah, in these cases, there's a lot of Chris's. And even Brian Laundrie's middle name was Christopher. I sound like I've done this before. I might have talked about this case like 1 or 2 times before. Yeah, I don't think he was oh, I see what you're talking about, Planet. See, I forget like what I say and then like what chat responds to, but now, yeah. Just wondering if like he closed those exercise circles from jogging or the theory that we were kind of saying, you know, Shanann's saying, oh, Chris is out for a run. He's out for a run. NK became obsessed not only with Chris, but Shanann as well, in my opinion. Absolutely. Oh my gosh, Melly. I wish you weren't modding for me back when I did this one stream, but I pulled apart statements that Shanann was saying on her Facebook live streams, just when she's talking about Thrive and cooking and stuff like that. And then I pulled apart audio from NK's interviews, and she'll use the same terminologies. Like Shanann will say something like, oh, I'm cooking right now because the kiddos are at school and I can't get all this cooking done with the kiddos around. And then all of a sudden I edited in NK's interview and she's like, the kiddos, like starts referring to them as the kiddos. And there were other instances too that I kind of clipped in. I have one of them, I think, in my documentary, but I'll have to play those clips again, because I think that was really compelling as far as showing the obsession that NK had with the wife. NK could have attended one of the many MLM pop-ups Shanann hosted at the house or restaurant. Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that, because she puts together an MLM party at her house, Shanann, in January. And the coworker, Troy McCoy, the one that was at the crime scene before law enforcement ever went there, who lied about being there, was at that party because his wife was signed under the MLM to Shanann. So Anadarko workers there at the Watts house that same day of the MLM party, NK is searching Shanann's name. So I don't know, guys. I don't think that it's a coincidence. And also NK and Troy never mention each other. I think that was on purpose. Yes. And that's what's also so unsettling. And so many people try to write off like, well, don't tell me you haven't looked up guys and their wives if you're attracted to them. Like, her looking up Shanann isn't that odd, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, but they were dead a year later. She's searching the family, and then a year later, they're dead. That's alarming. It's so alarming.
I want to know everything.
Yeah.
Okay, he's your dad. Okay.
He's called me like 10 times today.
It's going to take forever. And he's going to have questions and comments and concerns, okay? I would love for you and me as a team to talk tomorrow, to do a polygraph tomorrow, and move past all of it. Okay? Move past me wondering about Chris, me about wondering which Chris I'm talking to.
I just love coders just picking apart already what exactly we see in Chris. The different faces, the different Chris's. And he sums it down to 2 sides. I think Chris had way more sides than just 2. It's just so interesting how on point Coder was. He's like, oh, you know, the 2 Chris's. There's more. There's more sides to him than just 2. Michelle said, did she Google Cindy Watts? No, but she Googled Ronnie Watts on the night of their last date together. It's creepy and juvenile at the same time. I don't think she had anything to do with it, but focusing on them and looking them up to the point it raises questions is disgusting. Yeah. Definitely not a good sign. That's creepy and stalkerish. Huge red flag. I agree. She searched Ronnie Watts. Yes. And that's always been puzzling. I have wondered if NK told Chris she was pregnant shortly before the murder or right after, and that's why he didn't implicate her. I definitely think that could be possible. Because remember, she told him, excuse me, I'd like to give you a son. I'd like to give you a son. And yet she claimed she didn't know Shanann was pregnant. Oddly enough, with a boy. It's just so manipulative. She definitely would be somebody who would lie about a pregnancy, I think. In my opinion. Yeah, there are no coincidences. I agree. There's a lot of different alarming things. Cringe. Yeah, totally weird. She doesn't seem like she knows what healthy in a relationship is. Oh, yeah. Researching someone you met at the gym or bar is one thing, but obsessively and constantly searching on their social media platform is scary, in my opinion. Yes, and you just reminded me of something else that's just alarming, Bubba. So how many times have we heard in cases where the perpetrator, people who are involved, are like following the investigation closely? Prime example, the Gilgo Beach killer, aka Lisk, aka Rex Heuermann. He, for years, when they pulled up his like information from his phone searches, etc., he was like searching like Lisk or Long Island serial killer. Why is it taking so long for them to catch Long Island serial killer? Stuff like that. Like he was very much looking at what cops were reporting and just following the investigation closely, right? Because they begin to become paranoid. And that was something that even Jeffrey Dahmer said, like when he was caught, it was almost a relief to him because he was constantly looking over his shoulder. He was constantly wondering, when are they going to catch me? Are they coming for me? And it's just, we see it time and time again, right? And so with that in mind, once this murder took place, once they were missing, you know, even before they started finding the bodies of the Watts children and Shanann, we looked and we seen in the discovery, which we've already read through, but just to bring it up again, I mean, NK was searching everything about this investigation. She was searching news articles. She was searching just anything like Shanann Watts. Like it says right in the discovery that she was searching to find updates while the investigation was going on, before the bodies were found, and looking up her name. So is it because she's the mistress tied to this case and you're just curious, like what the heck's going on? Or is it more sinister? Is it like these other perpetrators who are just, you know, they can't help themselves. They want to know, like, what do they got? What do they know? What do they have on me? How close are they getting to finding things? Blah, blah, blah. It's alarming. You know, it could be, you know, people have looked at it as maybe like, well, she was the mistress. Of course she's going to look up what's going on. She's finding out that this guy that she's been involved with, his wife is missing and his kids. It really could be that way, you know, like none of us know. Or is it she's directly involved? She wants to know what they know. She's following the investigation, because not only was she searching those things, she was deleting them. Would you be deleting them if you were uninvolved? Don't know.
I want to move past it. I just want to get it behind us, okay? And then our talks are going to be a lot more comfortable than they were tonight. So can we say that tomorrow at 11 o'clock?
Sure.
We can do a polygraph?
Here.
Here. Okay. And there might be little tweaks. It might be at a different office or this. We're not going to try to rock your world too much. We know what you're going through.
Okay.
I want to get that done. I want to just move past it.
Okay.
Okay. Can we do that?
Yeah.
11 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any questions for him?
No, like, I have your phone number,
Yeah.
so that, like, if this flight does get delayed, I can call you.
Yeah, absolutely. You have Dave's, right?
Yes. So you based that up here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
You know that's a 24-hour number, okay?
Okay.
Let's make that happen tomorrow. Okay. One of the...
And this kind of goes back to our conversation that we were saying last night on Sebastian Rogers. Chris Proudfoot makes it clear to everybody in the live stream that we listened to and reviewed that we've been completely cooperative with law enforcement. And law enforcement will tell you guys we've been fully cooperative. Look right here. Chris lets him in his house, lets the dogs go through the house, all without, you know, he did end up signing a search warrant, but at first, I mean, he welcomed everyone in. It was like, yeah, nobody's here. He's agreeing right now to a polygraph with Coder. No problem. He'll be here. So just because you're cooperative doesn't mean you're not involved. Just want to throw that out there. And yes, Rex Heuermann was also cyber stalking the victim's family members. Yes, and he called one of the victim's sisters. And think about it. NK Googling Chris's father? Why was she cyber stalking Chris's father? Was it true about her putting crystals under the girl's bed? So there was a rock, they claim, under the bed. It's been misconstrued that it was a crystal. We don't know that. But there, I believe in the discovery files or on the body camera, the officer calls it a rock. Some people think that it was a salt rock from Shanann's salt lamp next to her bed. Other people think that NK put it there. We just don't know, but it wasn't a crystal. Yeah, it's weird. Wasn't she in a relationship with a guy when she was Googling Watts and Shanann in 2018? What was his name? Sean? Was it Sean? And yes, 2017. I see what you mean, James. Yes. It was Sean. And she claimed to her girlfriend that he wouldn't commit to her and that he didn't like to perform a certain sex act on her that Chris would. So yes, and it's weird too, because she says that she was with him like up until January or something, and she was Googling them all the way up to that point. NK was trying to flip herself into a deceived victim. Yes, she's abrasive and would have come off as suspicious to the public had she tried to be a criminal celebrity. Watching her delete her phone. Can you imagine her on the witness stand? Mind you, they had her, the prosecution had her on the witness list to work with them. They wanted her to be like Amber Fry was in the Scott Peterson case, only once they kept digging into her, they started to realize that she's nothing like Amber Fry and that they were effed, in my opinion. So they pushed for the plea deal. not to mention that how many times hey Aries, how many times they fumbled in the investigation. So they had investigative mistakes. They had a coworker who was at the crime scene before the bodies were found and lied about it and had to be re-interviewed. Then they had a witness mistress who was shady. And then that's why in the oil company being involved. So it had to be shut down quick. I think it's the perfect storm in so many reasons why the district attorney was like, I cannot go to trial with this. I cannot lose at trial with this. I need him to get a plea deal and sign it, in my opinion. NK was grossly obsessed, in my opinion. I wonder if Chris would have backed out if NK would have done everything by herself. Just a thought. I think that he was very close to backing out because just many reasons. We'll get into that stuff another night because that's a deep conversation. If you delete stuff, it makes you look very guilty. So this is another misconception. Survey's site was in the middle of being decommissioned as an active site by Anadarko at the time of the murders. That is information that NK knew due to her job position at Anadarko. A lot of people have been commenting on my videos saying they were going to demolish Survey and Chris knew it. That's why he put them there. They did demolish it, yes. It was in ruins, yes. But they didn't, there's nothing in our investigation information that states that they were going to get rid of Survey 319. They ended up getting rid of it, yeah, but they were there to fix the problem that was leaking. There was an oil valve and all that was leaking. They were hoping to salvage it. And then because it was falling apart, I believe that that's why they were going to plan the explosion there, because it would have been like, there was a paper trail that showed that there was an issue with it. And they would have been like, well, see, you guys knew. And now this happened. So yes, it was falling apart. Yes, they were fixing it. No, it wasn't already set to be demolished. But yeah, they ended up demolishing it. If she took him off her contact list, would his text disappear? No. No, the text would still be there. It would just be a phone number instead of like his name attached. She was so crazy obsessed, and I think somehow had something to do with planning the idea of getting rid of his family in Chris's head. I agree. Definitely agree. She is the catalyst for this. If he had never met NK, I believe that everybody would still be alive. They might have divorced, but they'd be alive, in my opinion. Yeah, NK was very good at being very evasive and elusive with her answers. Yes. Roxanne says, I delete a lot of beep. Just kidding. Sometimes I do, like to make room on, like to save space on my phone. But if I'm a mistress, if I'm NK, I'm not deleting anything if I'm innocent. Yeah, criminals usually like to know what's going on, I think. For sure, they can't help themselves. Yeah, oh, absolutely, Tony. Your stuff is never really deleted on the internet. Even the secret calculator app that they were using to communicate with each other on Chris's phone, so long ago, we read that page in the discovery, and it pretty much says like you could look and see what was being said, but you would need a search warrant to the company of the app. So just like in the Murdoch trial, when they got the search warrant for Snapchat and they were able to pull up that Snapchat, that obviously gets automatically deleted after you open it. They got a search warrant, Snapchat was able to pull the video back up. they pretty much said in these discovery files that like they could do the same thing with the secret calculator app and pull up everything that was being said between them and everything that was, because there was a private browser in there, anything that he was looking up, but they would need a search warrant for it, and never got to that point because no trial. Yeah, divorced, but alive. I agree. Stop, Planet Jace. To save space on your phone, we don't buy that, Amber. You're sketchy AF. So you think Jim was used? What do you mean by that? Like involved? Yeah, it really is. And I think that that's why a lot of people are kind of stuck on it. This case has a lot of more questions than answers. I don't think she would have done it to anyone else. She had an agenda with Chris. Yes. No, I think that Jim, I think he's involved. That's my opinion. Can't prove it. I don't know how either. So just to lay that out there. I have my theories, but without me being able to say 100%, I'm just not going to get into what I think just right now. Yeah. Okay, so let's listen a little bit longer. And I agree with your guys' questions. Yeah, we don't talk about Jim in here. Leave Jim alone. Divorce, maybe, but I think child support was a huge deal for him, in my opinion. I think if they were all still alive, yeah, it would have been a huge struggle. Because remember, when they moved to Colorado, he had a very well-paying mechanic job. Like he was making good money and had good credit. The house was financed in his name. They ended up, filing bankruptcy after Bella was born. But he still had that mechanic job. And then he started displaying symptoms of carpal tunnel. Shanann wanted him to get a different job. So he got a job at the oil company, which was paying way less. So I think I'm also curious what kind of alimony stuff Colorado has. I don't know their laws with divorce and stuff, but I just really think, yes, money was an issue. I think that's also why I believe in the explosion theory. I know that you're not there though, Derek. But I really think that he was going to come into money from the explosion, and that would have kept the children alive, but he would have gotten rid of Shanann. That's just my opinion. With her asking about his 401k, etc., I think Chris knew if him and Shanann had split up, he wouldn't have much money. And he knew by talking with NK, she was into how much and what someone had money-wise. Money is very much the center of a lot of NK's stuff that she talks about. Not only just the 401k, but her Google searches. Amber Fry's net worth. Amber Fry's book deal. Like she was looking to make money even after knowing that they were dead. So that is also a reason why I believe the explosion theory, because they didn't get the explosion. They didn't get the payout they wanted. Everything fell apart, but she was still holding on to the idea of making money with the book deals, etc. And it just didn't happen. And I agree with everything you guys are saying about leave Jim alone. Derek, thank you so much. Gifting 5 memberships. Welcome to those members. I really appreciate you guys. And I appreciate you, Derek, for gifting those. It's 50-50 in Colorado, very similar to Florida. So does that include alimony? Like you split things 50-50 and that's it? Like he doesn't have to pay her like alimony, or it's 50-50 whatever assets you have and then there's alimony? I agree, Tony. I really do. She said, I feel he wanted the girls to be alive, but not Shanann. Yeah. Can someone please get rid of Justin Bieber fan in chat? Obviously a troll.
One of the things that makes us wonder about which Chris again is when you don't answer the phone. Okay? So if I call you, I get it. You're on the phone. You're with your dad. You're in the drive-thru. You know, whatever it is. I get it. Okay? If you go a whole day without calling me back.
Oh no, that's not gonna happen.
Oh no, that's not going to happen, Chris says. When Coder's like, if you're not answering your phone, you know, if I go a whole day without getting a call back, oh no, that's not going to happen. This is already after, for those who joined us late, we read a discovery file page of a detective who basically said he was trying to call Chris over and over on the number that Chris gave him, and it would just go to dead air. And then Chris called him back on a different phone and said that his other phone was acting up. So now Coder is reiterating, like, you know, if you don't answer your phone, if I don't hear from you in a whole day, you know, it's going to be like kind of red flaggish. And Chris, oh, no, that's not going to happen. But it has already happened today, actually, because that was the same day that this interview's taken place. Oh, thank you, the purple one. Appreciate your time. I understand the time it takes. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I really enjoy talking about cases with you guys, not even just this one, but all of them. So thank you so much. Alimony is hard to get, though. Thank you, guys.
We promise each other we'll answer the phone.
Yeah, like I'm not going a day. Like if I'm with my dad, or like I have other calls coming in, like I'm getting back to you. Okay. There's no
I'm getting back to you. Another thing that the detective said was when Chris did call back, stating that his other phone wasn't working or whatever, the detective was alarmed that he didn't ask, like, did you find them? Do you have any news? So there's just things that Chris is doing along the way that is obviously red flags to them. Coder is smarter than Chris. Thanks. Yes. I'm laughing at Johnny's comment. Oh my gosh, was it NK? Roxanne says, by the way, I found a girl on Facebook that has a brown bikini. I mean, I was scrolling and boom. Oh, I'm sorry you had to see that.
Your dad's coming tomorrow. Were you guys planning on staying here?
Oh yeah, like he's gonna stay at my house. Like
okay.
that was the thing. Like I don't want to be in that house by myself.
Okay.
That's why I'm staying with my friends tonight.
Okay.
Because I can't be in that house again. Like,
have you already packed for your friends tonight?
I got it in my car.
Okay.
I was actually about almost there when he was calling me. I was like, okay. Yeah, I'll turn around.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I was like, I'd rather get this rolling right here. So.
All right. I hope you realize I'm someone that you can call and trust. And again, I put the screws to you, but that's because I need to.
I know.
Okay. You did a really good job tonight. Okay. Do you have any other questions for me?
No, just
okay.
We gotta find these two and my wife. I'll show you the other picture on my phone.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Any other questions for me? No, just find these two and my wife. Oh my, she's always the afterthought. Like, Coder has to be picking up on it too, because even in the porch interview with the media, Shanann was mentioned last. Or not even mentioned when he's like, I wish they would come barreling through the door and tackle me. He never even mentioned Shanann, just the kids. So again, these are all little things that really have like tipped me off to think like, oh my gosh, I think that the kids weren't in his plan, but they were collateral damage. Again, I could be wrong. Oh, okay. Nice. Can you? All right. I think you guys see what I'm talking about in chat. Mods, can you guys do the mod thing? Brown, what color was it to begin with? Hey, Valerie. Good to see you. Just popping in to say hello and listen. Happy Friday, all. Hey. Yeah, exactly. That is the question of the day. What color, Roxanne, was the bikini to begin with? Yeah, Tony. I mean, I think that's because he thinks the girls are alive and Shanann is gone. I think that that's possible. Or he's like starting to accept like, oh, maybe they're not anymore, but they were the last time I saw them. I don't know. And think about what we read in the beginning of the stream about Sandy saying that he kept saying that he had to get back to work. This is something that we did a whole live stream on, but him saying he had to get back to work on the day that they were missing. I mean, could it be because he needed to go retrieve the kids? Not Shanann, though. He's done with Shanann, in my theory. Yeah, dang, NK, stop trolling.
Let me go see. Yeah, let me go see where they are with the phone. Okay. And then we're gonna, if you're gonna go to your friend's house, then we might not include you very much at the house, at your house.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna try to leave you alone for the night, but if we get somewhere, if we can't get in the house, if we find something we gotta talk to you about tonight,
I'll have
I can't wait. Yeah.
I'll have my ready
again.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
Just try to find them.
No. Okay. I know. I appreciate you coming in tonight.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Give me a few minutes.
I'm down your gate right now.
So the interview is over. Why is he just sitting in here staring at the pic? Johnny, do you see Bubba's comment on the screen? Jay, you are forgiven for being late, even though we are pretty much done. You're one of my favorites, so I will let it slide. Oh, these notifications suck. I'm sorry, but YouTube definitely like sabotages creators and channels when they don't notify. Yeah, right? He's trying to look like he gives a shit. And yet, no tears. That could have a lot to do with the lack of emotion, Tony. She said he's not worried because he thinks they will just find Shanann, in my opinion. Yeah, I think that that's possible. I'm not saying like this is it, this is the truth, believe it. But I mean, there's so many things that have kind of led me to the direction that like the kids were not in Chris's plan. He's under the impression they might come home, but not Shanann. And I know it sounds crazy, but Tony doesn't think I'm crazy. Valerie doesn't think I'm crazy, so now I can sleep peacefully at night. All right, guys, we're at an hour and a half. I can't stand this clock ticking much longer. Can only take it in little, bits. Thank you. Happy says you're not crazy. Tell that to my husband. Just kidding. Didn't he scarf down pizza while these pictures were in front of him after confessing, though? He does eat pizza in the polygraph interview. And his earwax. So it's just, thank you, everybody in chat. Jay getting fancy with some Espanol. All right, guys, we're going to continue the deep dive. Let me just fast forward through all the, just to see, what looks like we got. Thank you, Valerie, for going back and watching. Looks like we got 30 minutes left. Look at him all by himself and all this. What is he doing? Oh, wait, right there. He picking his nose? Looking at it? What the heck? So yeah, we're going to have to, our next deep dive is going to be a lot of the clock ticking and him by himself. So we're going to have to I think we'll be able to find a way to fill the silence because Coder's not in there with him with comments and chat, just like we did tonight. I'll just leave it playing on mute so we don't have to hear the clock. And we'll just go through it, watching him until Coder and Detective Baumhover come back in the room and they all leave. So I think we're going to be able to finish this up, this interview at least, the next live stream, which I'm hoping will be next week. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for everybody who participated in chat. Thank you everyone who donated. Appreciate you guys so much. My moderators, you guys are awesome. The members, thank you very, very much. I can't thank you guys enough. Kent, good to see you. You always come in at the end. And I'm glad that you're listening. So yes, you guys have a great night, and I'm going to kind of decompress. I like to just step away from streaming on the weekend and, do family time. You might see me in some chats if I'm moderating for channels or whatever, but I'm just going to take a little break as far as my own reporting on some cases. We'll come back next week. We'll dig into Sebastian Rogers, Watts case. Let's see. Madeline Soto, we got to go through those documents still. A lot of stuff to kind of talk about. Did you guys also see that Netflix, Valerie and Jay, did you guys see this? I shared on my community page in my Facebook group. Netflix has announced that they are going to do a 3-part documentary on the Karen Reed trial. So they did not give a date though. So I'm like, come on, when is this going to be? But yeah, they're going to do a whole documentary. So I'll definitely watch that and review it. Very much like I reviewed the Selena Yolanda documentary that came out earlier this year on Hulu. Because obviously I can't stream the documentaries for copyright reasons, but I will take notes. I will watch it. I'll break it down. We'll talk about the case. Listen, Beard Free, Karen Reed is crazy case. Definitely recommend it. I don't think it's going anywhere. Yes, Missy. Yes, everybody have a great. Jay says he's going to audition for the documentary as an expert, like in the little like segments. I'd watch it for sure. I'm like, he was very knowledgeable. Good insight. Okay, everyone. Again, you guys have a great weekend. Thank you again to everyone who, donated and just hit the like button. Best show ever on Netflix now, 6 Feet Under. I've heard good things about that. Oh my gosh. Johnny says, I heard Netflix is working on a new movie, The Brown Bikini That Women Hated. And guess who it's starring? NK. All right, everyone. Thanks again. And thank you again to the moderators. And I'll talk to you guys on Monday night. And you guys have, unless I see you in chats over the weekend, if I'm moderating, etc. So you guys have a great night. I will say the House Huddle, if you're looking for more Watts content, she's one of my moderators. I don't know if she's still here, but she has done a recent video on the district attorney in this case. And I definitely recommend all her content. Yeah, earwax, freaking gross. Yeah. And picking his nose, just Chris Watts stuff. But yes, I will see you guys later, and check out the House Huddle for more Watts content if you're looking for more over the weekend. Johnny, let me know if you're going live also. Yes, check it out. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.